Okay, and today's agenda is we are going to discuss about looping statements in Python. Okay, so let's see what is the purpose of looping statements first of all. Okay, for example, I want to repeat a set of statements or a single statement multiple times, not single time. I want to use some statement or set of statements multiple times. Multiple times means more than one time. If I want to use, then instead of writing that code again and again and again, we can use looping statements. Okay, instead of writing the same code multiple times, we can use looping statements in a program. For example, I want to print Python 10 times. This string, I want to print 10 times. Then what we need to do? We need to use 10 print statements. Print Python, print Python, print Python. Like that, we should give 10 print statements. Instead of that, we can complete the code within 2 lines. Okay, using loops, we can complete the code within 2 times. Okay, let's see how we can do that. So just understand, if you want to repeat a set of statements or single statement multiple times, instead of writing that code or that statements again and again, we can use loops. Looping means repetition. Okay, looping means repetition. Okay, in Python we have two types of loops. One is while loop, one is for loop. Okay, let's start with while loop. What is while loop? See, in Python, a while loop is used to execute a block of statements repeatedly until a given condition is satisfied. Okay, so here in the above example, I already told you I want to repeat Python 10 times. So that condition I need to include, right? How many times I need to print Python? That is actually condition. I just want to print the Python 10 times. 10 times here, 10 times is a condition. So what it's going to do, uh, um, the while loop will execute the statements, okay, up to the condition get false. Means if the condition is true, it will print. If the condition is false, then it won't repeat, it won't go inside the loop to do perform the action. So try to understand. So there will be under while loop, we are going to have some statements. Okay, if the condition is true, then it will go inside the while loop and it will execute the statements inside while loop. But if the condition is false, then it won't execute the statements inside the while loop. It will come to the next statement. The control will come to next statement. If condition is false, the control will come out. Up to the condition is true, it will continue the execution of the statements inside while loop. Okay, so see, and when the condition becomes false, then line immediately after the loop in the program is executed. Means after my while loop, if I have any some other statements, it's going to execute those statements. If there is no statements, then it will give us the output and it will stop execution everything. Okay. So if the condition is true, then it will execute the statements inside the while loop. If the condition is false, then the control will go to the next statement after while loop. Okay, so this is the string syntax. While expression means here I am going to include the condition. Okay, the condition will be here, and inside that whatever the action I want to perform, that action I can keep inside this while. So here one more thing I want to tell you. Okay, let me create one more file. If you come to C language or Java language, if you want to specify a block of statements, or if you want to have some statements within a function, you are going to use these brackets. So within these brackets, you are going to have the content. So that what it's going to tell, for example, I will show you. So I am going to have one, it's in Java, or let me take C language, void main. Okay. So this is my function. So what it will tell within this curly brackets, here this is starting and this is the ending curly bracket, right? Whatever statement I have within these two curly brackets, that all will come under this main function. Okay, so what we are doing, we are using the curly brackets to specify the block of statements that comes under a function or a class like that. The same way, see, for example, why I have one more function called void print. If this is my, this is actually I'm in see I am telling. Okay, same. Here I have some set of statements. All those statements will come under this print, and the statements within these two curly bracket will come under this main. The statements within these two curly bracket will come under this print function. Like that, that will be there, right? In other languages. In the same way, in Python, if we want to specify some statement under a function or under a class or some under some condition, we should use indentation. Okay, indentation, that we call as indentation. Four spaces means one tab we are going to consider as one indent. So if this is my function, for example, this is how we are going to define functions in our functions are classes in Python. So see here, see, it's automatically going to take four spaces. So whatever statements I have here, it's going to consider all the statements under this particular function. If you come out and if you define one more function, okay, see, the statement will come under next function one. So this is how, okay, this is how it's going to take uh, the block of statements under a function. Okay, indentation. So if that indentation end means all these statements comes under this function alone. All these three statements comes under this function one, like that. To specify block of statements, we are going to use indentation. Indentation means four spaces in Python. That is mandatory. Okay, see, all the statements indented by the same number of character spaces after a programming construct are considered to be part of a single block of code. Okay, so here see, all these three statements indented with the four spaces. So all these three comes under this function. Means all these three statements we are going to consider as block of statement, and that comes under this function. So this is we call as indentation. Okay, so in Python we are going to use indentation for grouping the statements. Okay, I want to consider a few statements as a group, then I should use indentation, that is four spaces, one tab. Okay, let's see one example for while loop. Okay, so what is the syntax? So here I want to print Python three times. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to print Python three times. Okay, see how we can do. What we need to do, we need to specify the condition. So up to 3 means 3 times I need to print. So the condition is 3. Okay, so for that I need one variable to tell how many times I want to repeat. To tell how many times I want to repeat, for that I want one variable. So I am taking my variable as count. Okay, taking my variable as count and assigning some default value. I want to repeat 3 times, right? So I gave the value as 0. Okay. While, so same in Python, so what it's going to do, if you give the condition equals to 3, it will consider up to 2 only. It won't consider 3. So such a things are there. Means end index, I don't know, end index it won't include. Here also the same thing. It won't include the end. So what I want to do, I want print 3 times. What is my count variable first time? 0. Then I am going to increase it by 1. At that time the value is 1. Next time I am going to repeat it. Next time I am going to add plus 1 to that count variable. 1 plus 1 will become 2. So 0, 1, 2. Total 3 times. Now 2 is less than 3, right? 2 is less than 3. So that how many times it's going to do? 3 times it will repeat. So I will write the code and I will explain. Count is equals to count plus 1, then print Python. See how it will work. I will show you. Python loops.py. See, printed 3 times. Okay, what I'm doing, let me explain. So, what is my default first value for this count? Count value first time is 0. Okay, so it will come here, it will check. If what is the value in count? 0, right? 0 less than 3. It is true, right? 0 less than 3. The condition is correct. It will go inside the loop. So I have inside the while loop, I have two statements. It will execute these two statements. What I'm doing in first statement, I'm incrementing the count value by 1. Okay, already in count I have 0 value. Now what I'm doing, 0 plus 1, what is the value? In first loop the value will become 1, count value will become 1, and then it's going to print Python. Now what is the value I have in Python next loop, next time? The value is 1 because I did addition, right? I added plus 1 to count. Now the value become 1. So 1 is less than 3. Again the condition is true. It will come inside the loop. Already in count I have 1, the value 1, 1 plus 1. In second loop the value will become 2 and it will print Python. Again it will go back. Now the count value is 2. 2 is less than 3. The condition is true and it will add 2 plus 1. The value will become 3. Okay, and it will print Python. Next it will come here. What is the value I have now in count? 3. 3 less than 3. It's not correct, right? Then the control will come out. It will stop. It will stop the execution. The statements inside the while loop. It will stop execution of the statements inside the while loop. If the condition is false, then it won't execute. That's why it repeated 3 times. If I want to repeat 10 times, you should give less than 10. Okay, or else if you give the count value is 1, you should give here 11. It will print, see, 10 times it printed. Okay, this is how will work. Again, I am going to explain you. First time, my count loop, what is the value I have in count? 1. Okay, first it will check the condition. 1 is less than 11. Okay, the condition is true. Then it will come to the statements inside the loop. What is my first statement? I'm incrementing the count value by 1. I already have 1, 1 plus 1. So the value will become 2. Now what will be there? In count variable, we are going to have value 2. Then it will print Python. Again, it will go back to the condition. Okay, until the condition becomes false, the loop will go here only. It will check the condition. What is the value I have now? 2. 2 is less than 11, right? Then it will come here, 2 plus 1. This will become 3 and it will print the Python like that it's going to do. Finally, I'm going to have 10. Okay, in continuous way, if I'm incrementing plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, my last value is 10. Okay, so 10 is less than 11, it will execute, and 10 plus 1, the value will become 11 and it will print Python. Then it will again come here. Now what is the value I have? 11. 11 less than 11. The condition is not true, right? 11 less than 11. It's not true. 11 equals to 11 is true. Not 11 less than 11. My 11 value is not less than 11. So the condition is false. Then it will stop the execution of the statements. After this, if I have any other print, it is done. Okay. What I'm doing, it's done. See, Python it printed because I kept count less than 4, right? So it will repeat the looping 3 times. So it printed Python 3 times and it will, once the condition is false, okay, the control will come to the next statement after while loop. Here you should understand these two statements, count and this print Python, will come under while loop because here I'm maintaining the indentation. Here I am maintaining the indentation. So these two statements will come under while loop, and this is, see, this is again normal. It's not following any indentation. So it won't come under while loop. So indentation is mandatory, and after looping and if statements and all functions and all, we should use this colon. It will indicate okay, from this colon afterwards, we are going to have some block of statements to indicate that we are going to have this colon here, and these two statements will come under while loop. This won't come under while loop because these two statements following indentation. This is not following the indentation, so it won't come under while loop. Okay, this is how the while loop going to work. Then what is using else statement with while loop? Okay, we have while with else. Okay, so this is also one of the important interview question. So what is while with else or for with else? Okay, they are going to ask what it will do. Okay, so what it will do, if you use else statement. Okay, so if everything, if all the statements in while got executed successfully, then only the statements in else block will execute. Okay, let me move this under else. Okay, so what I'm telling, if all the statements in while executes, then only the else block statement will get execute. Okay, means what is my condition here? So it should print Python 3 times. If it is successfully print Python 3 times, then only the statement will come. If it won't repeat 3 times, then it won't give you this. It is done like that. Okay, there should be no break. If while statement or while loop completed successfully, then only the else associated with this while block will get execute. Okay, see, again here I am maintaining the indentation, so the print statement will come under this else block. Okay, so this is while with else. If there is any breakdown, if while not completed successfully printed this Python 3 times, then it won't print this one. I will show you next time. Like we have two statements for that. I will show you those statements. Then you can understand it. While with else and for with else. But remember, of all the statements, or if while loop completed successfully, then only this else block will get execute. Okay. Then the syntax and example I showed you. That's fine. Then infinite loop. Okay. Infinite loop means if I want to print some statements infinitely without any condition, if I want to print, then you can use this infinite loop. If I give my count equals to 1, it will do, can see, the loop will continuously repeated because count equals to 1. So this is actually equals to operators. If you have two equals, this is we are going to call as equal operator. If you have single equal, that will be assignment operator. In operators concept, we can discuss, okay? But remember, if you want to compare, if you want to check equality, then you should use this double equal. See, here my loop is going on, keep on going on, infinite loop. Because my condition is true every time. I'm not incrementing the count value. Every time my count value remains 1 only. So every time the condition is true. 1 is equals to 1, 1 is equals to 1, 1 is equals to 1. So that's why the loop become infinite. If I So I need to close it. Okay. So this is infinite loop. Okay. If you do this one, count count plus 1, now it won't give you the infinite loop. Okay, because I incremented, and after first loop the count value going to change. Okay, first time the count value is 1, 1 is equals to 1, the condition true, it will come inside. What it will become, count value is already 1, 1 plus 1 will become 2, then it will print Python, and 2 equals to 1, 2 is not equals to 1, right? 2 is greater than 1, the condition is false, and it won't execute next, it will print Python only one time. Let's see the output. Python loops dot py. See, it only printed one time because the condition satisfies only one time. So it printed, it execute the statements only one time. Okay. And then we have for loop. Okay. So for loop are used for sequential traversal. Sequential traversal means it will do one by one, one by one. For example, in school, we are going to give attendance, no? In attendance, what we are going to do is sequentially means roll number wise, one by one, we are going to give our attendance. So this is the example for loop. Okay. This will be sequential traversal. It will um, loop in one sequential manner, one by one, it's going to do. Okay. So here, if you want to access the list elements one by one, then we can use this for loop. Okay. Let's see how it will work. So this will be the syntax for, and here you should give one variable. Okay, any one variable you can take, and then in is a keyword, for is a keyword, in is the keyword. Okay, then here you can take one variable name, then sequence means the list name or string name, array name that you should give here. Then statements means the action that you want to perform. Okay. For example, what I want to do here, Python program to illustrate iterating over range 0 to n minus 1 means what I want to do here, let me comment. Here, I want to print the numbers from 1 to 10 using for loop. What I want to do, I want to print the numbers from 1 to 2 using for loop. How we can do here, let's see. Here we are going to use range. Okay, range function is there. Okay, what it's going to do what it's going to do mean range. Okay, the range going to take two parameters, total three it will take. Morning we saw morning we saw slicing. So start, end number and step size. Okay, same, the three parameters this range will take. Okay, if you didn't specify any start, by default it's going to take as 0, and end you should specify. Step size same, if you specify the step size it will take, otherwise it's going to take the step size as 1. Same morning whatever we discussed the slicing, the same concept will work here. Let's see how we can do. For I'm taking the variable as I. For I in range, I want to print from 1, right? 1. I want to print 10 as well. So what Python will do, it won't include end number or end index. If you want to print that end number as well, you should add +1 to that number. Now I want to print 10. Then what I need to do, I need to add +1 to that 10. What it will become? 11. 11. I want to print I. So what it will do, I will explain. So after running this program, I will explain you how it will work. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 also it printed. Let's see how it will work. Okay, so range, what it will do, range going to generate you one list of values it's going to have. If you give range 1 to 11, it's going to have list of values from 1 to 10. Okay, so what I'm doing for I in range 1, 11, what it will do, I will take in first loop, I will take the first value. What is my first value? 1. So it will print 1. Next time what it will do mean, I already told you, if step size is not specified, by default the step size is 1. Okay, so my starting number is 1. 1 plus 1, it will become 2 and it will print 2. Then 2 plus 1, it will print 3. Okay, next 3 plus 1, it will print 4. Up to 10, it will print. If I give my step size as 2, it will skip 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It will skip these numbers. Let's see how it will do. See, 13579 because I gave step size as 2. So first time it will print 1 because in I first time I have value 1. Then what said next time the step size is 2, right? It will add 2 to 1. So 1 plus 2 become 2, 1 plus 2 become 3, printed 3. Next time I value is 3, 3 plus 2, 5, it printed. Okay. Next time 3 plus 2, 5 it printed. 5, 5 plus 2, 7 it printed. 7 plus 2, 9 it printed. So up to 8. If you give 11, it's going to print up to 10 only, right? So it's skipped. Based on the step size, it's going to print the values. If you didn't give step size, it's going to consider as 1 only. And here I want to print the numbers in reverse. From 10 to 1 I want to print. So my starting is 10. I want to print 1 also. I want to print 1 also. At that time you should give 0 in descending order. And here you should specify the step size. If you won't specify the step size, it won't print anything here. See, I will show you. It won't print anything because the end range is 0. How it will print? It can't print, right? The starting is 10 and end you give less than the starting number. So it won't print. The step size won't work here. If you give -1, this time it will print the numbers in reverse. See, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you give step size as -2, then it will print 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 2. See, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 2. Okay, this is how the looping will work. And I have a list and I want to print the list of elements. Let's see how we can do. Okay, this is my list. Python is easy. See, this is my list and I have 3 elements inside the list. I want to print all those elements. Then how I can do? For here I need to give the variable. I'm going to take that as I. You can take anything I, J, K, R, name. This time I will take name in L. Okay, see how it will work. I will explain you. Print, okay, sorry, name, the same thing I need to give here, name. Okay, see, Python is easy. So what it will do, the name will take first Python and it will print. In next loop, it will take is and it will print. And next time it will take easy and it will print. After that, I don't have any elements, right? So the control will come out of this for loop. This is how for loop will work. Okay. And same for loop also you have this else block. If in else block, what I'm going to do? Print. It is done. If a for loop got successful, then only this statement will execute. Okay. See, it printed all the things, means it printed all the elements from the list. So the for loop got success. That's why it executed this else block. Okay. This is using else statement. And one more. As of now, we saw printing this data as it is. Means directly we stored this Python easy one by one to this name variable and we printed. Normally in morning we saw how we can access list elements using index, right? So how we can do with index this looping? I want to perform the for loop with the help of index. So for that, first we need to take the length of the list. And you should use range here, length of L. Okay. So let's see what it will do this time. If you print name, it's going to give you the indexes. See, if you give name, this time it's giving me the indexes because I'm using range. So range, I already told you. The range, the starting number, if you didn't give the start number, it's going to take as 0. And this length of L it's going to consider as n number. and step size by default it is 1. That's why it printed 0, 1, 2. Indexes is printed. If I want to print Python, how I can do means just give L index. See, Python is it printed na? So first time it will take the name index as 0. L index of 0 means Python. Next time it's going to increase the value by 1. 0 plus 1. It will become 1. Next time L index of 1 means easy. Next 1 plus 1. It is 2. L index of 2 means easy. It printed easy. And finally it's executed the else block as well. This is how we can access the list elements in two ways. One by using index. One we can do directly. Okay. And we have nested loops. Nested means we are going to have loop inside one more. Like you are going to have inner loop, outer loop, inner loop. Two will be there. Loop inside a another loop we are going to call as nested loop. One loop inside another loop we are going to call as nested loop. See here, this is the syntax for then this variable name in this list or anything you can take. Then again one more for loop. So what it is nested means a loop inside another loop. We are going to call nested loops, right? So there will be two loops, and the statements will comes under this inner loop, and these statements will comes under outer loop. In this scenario, you can understand the indentation properly. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to print each number three times like this. 1 space 1 space 1 means I want the three ones. Next time I want three twos. Next time I want three threes. Next time I want four fours. So like this I want to print. In these scenarios, we need to use two loops, nested loops, because each number I want to print three times. Like let's see for I in range. So I want to print from 1 comma. Now what will be the my end index? I want to print up to 4. I want to include 4 as well. I want to print 4 as well. So my end index will be 5. And I want to print each number 3 times for j. So here see here outer loop variable name and this inner loop variable name should not be same. So I took j in range. How many times I want to print? Each one I want to print three times. My start index is 1 and I need to give 4. Then only it will print three times. Print I. Then print. See, now this print I comes under this loop, this inner loop, and this print statement comes under this outer loop. That's why here the indentation will use. So the indentation will tell which statement comes under which loop, which block. Okay. See, if I execute the code, so here I need to use the end equals to. I will explain you what is the purpose of end. See, 1 1 1 2 2 2 3 3 3 4 4 4. What it will do, So first time for I in range. So starting range is 1. So it will take 1. Okay. 1 in I have the value 1. Next it will come under for inner loop. Okay. So what it will do, if all the statements means all loops in this inner loop complete, then only it will go for outer loop. Means every time it will perform this print statement three times, then only it will go to again outer loop. Okay, so one it printed three times. I want to print three times, so it printed one three times. Then it will go, it increases the value I to 2. So it printing, I'm printing I know, so it printing 2 3 4 3 3 times. So once the inner loop got successfully, then only the control will go to the outer loop. Okay, these are the nested loops. So first it should complete, then only the control will again go here. That's why it printed 1 3 times, 2 3 times, 2 3 times, 3 3 times, 4 3 times. Okay, based on this inner loop. Okay,